Mike's on. He's ready to go on the Fan. New York Sports Radio. Mike's on. Mike's on. He'll get you the sports any way that he can. It's Mike Francesa on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM. WFAN. Oh, 104 on the Fan. Yes, indeed. Benigno Roberts filling in once again for Mike. It's officially now the Summer of Love 2017, and maybe, bro, the final Summer of Love ever. I mean, it may very well. So we're hearing anyway. I'm retiring. All right, okay. So maybe that's how it's going to go down. I'll believe it when I see it. But Mike's off and Phil's out. Oh! Matt Casey, Ernie Acosta on the other side of the glass.
So you're happy?
Bro, let me tell you right now. So I'm in the car with Terry, and I'm getting ready to go onto the train. I'm at the train station, whatever time it is. I get a text from, of all people, Ira. Okay, Ira in Staten Island, big Jet fan, obviously, all of that. P-Jack is fired. I'm like, P-Jack? I'm like, what jet is P-Jack? Right?
Right, yeah.
About 30 seconds later, Terry on her phone, because she's got like ESP, she's got all, you hear all the crazy sounds, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, and then she's got one for Fox, whatever the Fox thing is, the Fox sounder.
Right.
All right, so she's got that on the phone, and all of a sudden she says, Phil Jackson's out. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Dolan fired him. I'm like, what? Come on. She goes, no, mutual agreement. Wow, so then I realized exactly P-Jack, what Ira was talking about, and I got to tell you, it was like a party. I actually, even though it's a gorgeous day, and God knows I wish I was out at 1 o'clock now and on my way to the golf course, which I would admit, even that, when I heard that, my whole demeanor changed. And I want, as a guy, and you know this, you know better than anybody, well, both of us, as a guy who has gotten on Jim Dolan over the years as much as anybody, I want to thank Jim Dolan. Because you did the right thing here. Thank you, Mr. Dolan, getting rid of this guy. And I give Dolan even more credit for this. The fact that, and I've been saying this the last couple days, and I've probably said it for longer than that, look, Phil's here. He's a cover for Dolan. Everybody's, whatever, disaster the Knicks may be, it's all on Phil and not on Dolan. Well, you know what? Dolan does the right thing. He dumps Phil. And I think a lot of this, bro, had to do with all... There's been so much negativity surrounding Phil, whether it's the fan base, whether it's the media, the stuff that's going down with Melo, the stuff that's going down with Porzingis, and I think Phil, and the stupid triangle nonsense. And I think Dolan finally said, you know what? I got to get rid of this guy. And thank you, Mr. Dolan.
Well,
thank you.
Something had to happen, like specifically for James Dolan to say, right before free agency.
Right.
Right after the draft.
Right.
I got to get rid of this guy.
Yep.
And
seems
so
that way.
You try to read the tea leaves, and you start off with Melo, and his handling of Carmelo Anthony has been awful.
Awful.
It's been bad.
Awful.
He's treated a guy like crap.
To the point that it also alienates other guys from wanting to come here.
Yeah. It's alienated other guys,
question.
and it's probably ticked off Kristaps Porzingis.
Sure.
Who you think is the future.
Sure.
But, you know what? Maybe it's a factor. It wasn't Melo. Because if it was Melo, he would have fired him months ago.
Yeah.
So then you get to the Porzingis stuff, which I got to tell you, the idea of shopping Kristaps Porzingis is not a crime.
No. But that's not the issue.
That's not the issue.
Right.
The issue is, are you shopping him because he made a mistake? Which he did. He made a mistake. He should have gone to the exit interviews.
Of course.
But are you really going to hold that against him and say, I'm going to move on from him? So maybe that's the big factor. You may think I'm nuts. You know what I think may have been the final nail? When an unnamed college player tells Jay Williams, the dude fell asleep during my workout.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you
last
why.
Week. Yeah.
I think that's horrible, and that could have been his final nail. And I'll tell you why I think that.
Maybe.
Because that continues the notion that Phil Jackson doesn't work hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
It continues the notion that he's collecting his check.
Yep.
He's got his ego.
Yep.
And he's not busting his derriere. He's not pulling a Sean Marks, who's on an airplane every 5 minutes, flying across the globe to scout guys playing any gym known to man.
Right.
And I think that being out there, that Phil, it's what it is. You know, I'm here, I'm having fun, I'm making some money. I think that may have ticked James Dolan off enough to say, you know what?
Well,
why am I paying this guy?
Yeah, well, hey, bro, you may be 100% right. Whatever it is, thank God. If you're a Knicks fan today, you got to be happy. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Now, we'll see what happens from here. Who's going to be the next GM? I know they're interested in, what's his name, Ujiri from Toronto?
Masai Ujiri, yeah.
Now, what's his deal? I mean, he's got under contract, right?
He's the president of the Toronto Raptors. He runs the Toronto Raptors, and he would be the guy that I would hire if I'm James Dolan. And
even ahead of the guy from Cleveland?
Absolutely.
That's out there. What's his, David Griffin?
David Griffin, absolutely. Because Masai has done a very good job. I mean, pretty good job in Denver, in Toronto. Mm-hmm. He's fleeced the Knicks twice, which by the way, is a factor.
Yeah.
Like, it's human nature. Like, if I ask you your opinion about Julio Teheran, isn't it a little bit different based on the way he dominates the Mets?
He kills the Mets, yeah.
Right. Now, if I told you his ERA is 5.5, you'd be like, well, it doesn't feel that way. He kills the Mets.
Right.
So there's no doubt that to Knicks fans and to James Dolan, you look at this guy and say, well, he's fleeced the Knicks twice. First, it was the Melo trade, in which he got a lot of assets back.
Yep.
When he maybe wasn't in position to get that many assets back, and he did, but then really the Bargnani trade, when he was able to get a first-round pick back.
Yeah, right.
But he's a guy that I think is a really
That was Glenn Grunwald. Was that Grunwald that made that trade?
I think that was Grunwald, yes. Yeah. So he ripped off two different people, right?
No, yeah, but Dolan was still the owner.
Yes, that's the constant.
Yes.
So Dolan has experienced that, but Masai he's a good GM. I think he knows what he's doing, and I think that the Knicks have a direction where you get a guy that keeps you guys happy, fans, Knicks fans. I don't really think, now maybe I'm wrong, you could tell me I'm wrong here, that if you hired an unproven executive, if you promoted a guy the way the Nets did Sean Marks, I don't think that would create the excitement or the confidence.
Yeah, I'm not.
In
you know what though? I'm not worried about excitement and confidence. I'm worried about this team going in the right direction and winning, and a general manager / president, whatever you want to call him, that's going to do the right thing here, and it's about the best interest of the basketball team. You know what I'm saying?
So experience not a big deal.
I don't think it is.
All right, that's fine then.
I'm not crazy about that.
Then you know what? You could expand the search even more.
Yeah.
And hire
I don't
a guy.
want Steve Mills being the GM. I'll say that.
Steve Mills isn't a basketball guy.
But I'm saying, but I don't want to see Dolan say, okay, Steve, you're the guy. No, I don't want to see that.
No, I don't think
I want to see a basketball guy come in here.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
And no offense to David Griffin and everything he did in Cleveland, but we've heard a lot of positive things said about him. Truthfully, he got LeBron James back. Now, you want to give him credit for the Kevin Love trade? I mean, really? Is that what we're doing? Trading the first overall pick in Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love? Yes, he absolutely beat Phil Jackson in the Amon Shumpert-Smith trade.
Yeah.
But really, what we're rewarding him for is building the bench around LeBron James, or building the pieces around LeBron James. Masai's done a very different kind of job in Denver and Toronto. So I think that would be a good hire. Now, is Masai interested in taking the job? It's all about money and it's all about control.
Sure.
And if Dolan is going to follow through with what he did with Phil, and that's give money and give control, then why wouldn't Madison Square Garden running the Knicks be an appealing job?
If
you've got the money and control, isn't that all you need?
Hey, look, if you hear he could ever get it done here, please. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting this. I'll be the leader of the statue chiseling. You know,
of course you will.
So I mean, let's go. I mean, I would. You said it before when you talked about LeBron leaving, and the place would be the Knicks to finally win there, and what it would be like after 45 years, whatever it is now, 44. Let me get it. I was like, it's too crazy, right? 1973, 44 years ago.
But it would be.
Right? Yeah. Of course. I mean, it would. So based on that, and I agree with that. You know what? If you could win here finally in New York and get it done here at the Garden, oh my God. I mean, come on.
No, absolutely. That's why,
what's better than that?
I think if you negotiated with Masai, who's, in his 40s, so he's a relatively young guy. Right. He's got the experience.
Is that what he is in his 40s, this guy?
Yeah,
I like that.
46 years old.
Okay, I like that.
And I don't even hold it against him.
And he's not going to run the triangle.
No, I don't think he will. I don't even hold it against him that during a pep rally a couple of years ago, he screamed F Brooklyn, okay?
That's all right.
Because
he won the series.
Well, we won the series, and also I give him credit. He was being prophetic. He wasn't saying F Brooklyn. He's saying Brooklyn is F'd. You know what I mean? Because he knew the future.
Yeah, right.
So, he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
But the guy's a good executive. He won Executive of the Year about 4 years ago.
Hey, look, he's turned around. The Raptors are a legitimate playoff team consistently now. Let's be honest. They went to the conference finals a couple of years ago. I don't know if they won 50 games or not this year. Probably won right around 50 in that area. He's done a very good job there. He has.
Absolutely. And I think the one thing that Dolan has proven is that he's got the money to spend on executives and coaches.
He's got plenty of money.
He's got that money. Now,
hey, look, they're selling out the building every night. That's for sure.
No, absolutely. That's not even an issue.
Nope.
So they've got the money to spend on executives, and if he's really staying out of it, and by the way, when they hired Phil Jackson, the biggest thing when they hired Phil Jackson was, is Dolan going to just, is he going to get out of the way?
Right.
And I think all the evidence points to the fact that he did out of the way.
He did get out of the way.
How did he ever get involved?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't get involved till now.
Right. When he fired him.
When whatever the reason was, okay. And like I said, maybe he heard. I think it had a lot to do. I think that maybe the final straw is what you said, him falling asleep and this unnamed college draftee saying, hey, Phil fell asleep at my workout. I mean, maybe that was it. But, I mean, I think a lot of the negativity around Melo, around Porzingis, the fact that he hears the fan base is all screaming about Phil, all of that, I think that all contributed.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think it all adds up. Like, I don't think he was necessarily simply fired because of that comment that came out that Jay Williams reported.
That was the final straw.
I think it could be because it looks bad.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be doing a bad job as an executive, a bad job as a general manager. It's another thing to be doing a bad job and the perception being you don't care and you're not trying. It just doesn't look good. And I think that's been a perception out there about Phil Jackson for a while. And I'm a little surprised that everybody went out quietly. Phil said nice things about what the Knicks mean to him and that it's unfortunate it didn't work out. Now he's probably counting his dollars as he's leaving.
As he's headed for Malibu, wherever he lives.
I mean, this was...
putting his feet in the ocean as we speak.
Yeah, maybe fighting to get Genie back.
Laughing, a little pina colada in hand, and, playing a little dead, a little trucking in the background, Uncle John's band. He's all pumped up.
If he doesn't care about the way you and other Knicks fans feel about his tenure here, if he can put that aside, then he had a great time here because he made a ton of money and did very little.
And did nothing. Did nothing.
Nothing.
Drafted Porzingis.
He got your Porzingis.
Hopefully he's right about the Tinalinka, however you say his name. Let's hope. We'll hope so.
Wait, hold on.
However you say it.
Frank Nikinila.
Whatever it is. The point guard from France.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. I was trying to learn from him. Frank. Yeah, we have that clip of Frank saying his name, and I'm trying to pronounce it from him. But you know what? That could be the parting gift. If Frank turns out to be a real good player,
only hope.
If Porzingis continues to develop, maybe 8 years from now, you look back at Phil's tenure and say, well, at least he gave you Porzingis, Hernan Gomez, and maybe the French point guard.
Right.
Maybe. And like you said at the top, I got to give Iron Staten Island a lot of credit. For a guy that usually is a one-trick pony with the Jets,
extremely.
For him to be the one to break the news to you is crazy.
I got to tell you,
good job, Iron.
P-Jack, who is this? What is this? Coach, I don't know who he is.
Strength and conditioning
I had no
coach?
idea what he was talking about. And then, like I said, 5 minutes later, Terry tells me, Jackson's out.
Well, the way this came about last night is at about 3 a.m., which is his specialty, Adrian Wojnarowski dropped a Woj bomb. And his Woj bomb said, Knicks and Phil Jackson may part ways.
Right.
And then about an hour later, Ramona Shelburne of ESPN put the hammer down and said, ways parted, they're going to be done with each other.
Wow.
So this all broke in the wee hours of the night and early morning. It was if you were up at 3 o'clock in the morning like Ernie Acosta was, you got some kind of gift.
What are you doing? The Yankees didn't play a late game. What are you doing 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah,
we know there wasn't like some woman in the apartment.
The most frustrating part is I got this great news. I can't talk to anybody about it.
What? You couldn't talk to anybody about it?
The frustrating part is I have this great news, and there's no way to talk to her. Everybody's asleep.
Yeah, well,
I got it at 6:30. When I woke up, I saw
I'm sure Chernoff was up. I mean, you could have got it.
He probably was. Now, I will say, we did our best. We tried to get Mr. Dolan on.
We did.
Declined.
Right?
He's not doing media.
By the way, I just heard from Mr. Watkins.
He gave you good information?
No, he was very nice what he said.
No, there you go.
He said I'd crack him up. Because I won't say what I texted him.
I can imagine. Well, here's what I would tell Madison Square Garden. Okay, because if you're listening, I'm a nice guy. I'm a caring guy. I would write a letter of recommendation for Billy King.
Stop.
All right, so if you want to
stop Billy King, I'd rather have Billie Jean King.
I'm sure you would.
Billy King, come on.
We'll come back.